100 rated chess, but your queen may only move closer to your opponent's king, and your king may only move closer to your opponent's queen. So based on my database recording my games against my 100 rated opponents, there is a pretty decent chance that my opponent of this video will be blundering his queen sooner or later. And since the most important part of this challenge is my opponent's queen, capturing the woman basically removes the challenge and I get to play a free game. Therefore let us say, I cannot capture my opponent's queen. Let's go. e4. e5. Since the challenge obviously only affects my king and my queen, the plan is very obvious. We don't move them at all, and if my opponent can just not move his queen out on his very first move and then go absolutely crazy with his queen that I cannot capture because I made up that rule myself, everything will be absolutely fine. No. 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 Knight c6. Well, to be honest, it is actually fine, like even though queen takes f7 here physically forces my king to take his queen, which breaks my own rule, and thus I'll end my own the video. I mean, who plays like that anyway? Right? I never had any doubts. Knight f6. The challenge only requires my king to always go closer to his queen, not his queen always go closer to my king. So it's totally fine to push the woman back for my king's safety. So of course he pushed a pawn instead. I cannot take his queen due to the rules. I guess I'll just develop here. You know what? When you think about it, it is absolutely convenient for me if he can just leave his queen over there for the rest of the game. Of course not. That blunders the woman again, and I actually can't even castle because even though it moves my king closer to his queen, there is d4 followed up with bishop h6, a very dangerous attack. So I guess I'm just gonna do my own thing. It's funny that there weren't that many ways to defend the g-pawn, so I decided to give up on the little guy. Queen takes g7. Rook g8. Moment of truth. Do not take my rook. That is not a move. This game is going very wrong very quickly. Bishop f8 is kinda forced. Just please don't take this bishop as well. You may didn't see a backward knight move, but there's physically no way you cannot see the king right next to the bishop. Thank you. That blunders the queen for like the 37th time in this game, but I don't really have such a luxury. Queen h6. Still blundering the queen by the way. But I'll take the pawn. This is actually really good though, because basically now we know that he's not intentionally blundering his queen, so big chance he's not gonna give a melee check that ends the video. But of course he will still keep on blundering. Big brain move. Check. His best response here is to take my pawn with his queen, which is a very difficult to see counterintuitive move, and if he plays anything else, I should be able to take the game back into my hands within just a couple of moves. Let's go baby. Bishop c5 check. d4. I have to take with queen. Leaving the queen there is obviously just asking him to make the trade. King e1. Bishop g4. He's not gonna go queen e7 or queen f7, this guy is bad, but at least he knows my king can capture on those squares. Knight g2. My queen is already too close to his king, she doesn't have many free squares left, I have to take that. Bishop takes. Rook d8. Rook g1. Ha! Looks like a mouse slip to me. But of course, I'm not complaining. My queen on d4 was a square root of 10 distance away from his king, and it is 2 squares when she's on g1, and since 2 is actually square root of 4, square root of 4 is smaller than square root of 10th. So queen from d4 to g1 is going closer to his king. Bishop f1. Knight d4. Take the pawn and get off the f-file please. What an amazing unpaid actor. Knight e6. Well, this plan can actually seriously backfire on me if he decides to pull his queen back for defense, but based on what we have been witnessing until now, there is physically no way for this guy's brain to cooperate with such a cowardly act. It will not happen. Thank you. f2 to e1 is square root of 2, which is shorter than square root of 4. Queen to f2. Checkmate in 1. Mission accomplished.